Is Lawbreakers the new Overwatch killer? Will Overwatch kill Lawbreakers before it even gets a chance? We'll see which one gets your vote later, but first, we're here to stack up these two games together to see how they compare side by side. First, let's take a look at what Lawbreakers brings to the table and if it's worth picking up for those of you not on board the Overwatch hype train. I'm your host, Kyle Stover, and I'm here with the leaderboard to break these two games wide open, so let's get started. So what is a Lawbreakers and how does it compare to Overwatch? So by now most of you should know about Overwatch, Blizzard's 6v6 first-person shooter populated with cyborg ninjas, hovering battle medics, and rocket-propelled artillery women. The one that came out in May 2014-2016, the picturesque Team Fortress on steroids. Good. Alright, now it's time for you to meet the new kid on the scene. Boss Key Productions' very first title ever, Lawbreakers. It has players going head-to-head in teams of 5 as either the Law or the Breakers. See what they did there? It's completely original and a new game with cyborg assassins, hovering battle medics, and rocket-propelled artillery women. Wait a sec. Okay, fine. It would be really easy to spin this to make it sound like another Overwatch copycat situation here, but this isn't really true about Lawbreakers at all. While they have their similarities, sure. Lawbreakers plays at a faster pace with grittier gameplay reminiscent to the Unreal Tournament series. This is in part due to team members like Cliff Bleszinski, who has credits on titles such as Jazz Jackrabbit, the Unreal Tournament series, Devastation, Brothers in Arms, Road to Hill 30, the Gears of War series, Fat Princess, Infinity Blade series, Bulletstorm, Superhot, and Fortnite. Boss Key Productions was founded by Cliffy B alongside Arjan Bruchai, a man credited as the first successful Dutch game developer and the, quote, godfather of Dutch game development. Behind them is a team with decades of game experience from other titles such as the Fallout series, Battlefield Hardline, the Resistance series, PlanetSide, and Neverwinter Nights 2, just to name a few. They may be a new studio with a small team, but their expertise and drive are no joke. Boss Key Productions' small and dynamic team is quite the contrast compared to Blizzard Entertainment's 26-year-old international team, numbering in the hundreds with several long-standing game series. It's almost a David versus Goliath situation, if, we were actually making the two games fight to the death, which we're not. Just a friendly comparison video here. No video game deathmatch going on. It's not a phase, Mom. This is my main now. Overwatch has Omnic Centaurs, old lady snipers, and asymmetrical doom-fisted men with a colorful cast of over 24 heroes to pick from and counting. The balancing must be a nightmare over at Blizzard HQ. May we take a moment of silence for all the QA testers that Jeff had to put down last year due to balancing stress. In comparison, Lawbreakers brings darker, more high-tech heroes to pick from, focus more on their utility kit rather than some quirky design aesthetics. Enter in our two sides. The Transnational Authority of Supplemental Control Law side and the Yakuza-backed Supplement Corporation Breakers side. Cops and robbers have never looked so good. There are 8 different roles to pick from, with the Law and the Breakers having their own characters distinct to their side. On the Law, you have stalwart good guys like Toki, Axel, Sunshine, and Bombshella. While on the Breaker side, opposite them, you have the dangerous criminals Feng, Kintaro, Baron, and Kronos. Think of it like how in Overwatch teams can have 2 Tracers on the opposite teams, but now imagine one side having Tracer and the other side having Lena Oxen. Like an evil Talon side with Reaper, Dark Mercenary of Death, while Gabriel Reyes, Blackwatch leader and general good guy, was on the other. Reinhardt on the team of Law, and Blackheart on the team of Breakers. This keeps characters always fighting against the same side, much like terrorists and counter-terrorists in Counter-Strike. This avoids the issue of why sworn enemies have joined up together all of a sudden for reasons. At the start of each match, you are randomly assigned to one side or the other, though it doesn't really affect how the game mode is played. Since each character in Lawbreakers has their own skins and unlockables, it does mean that though you get used to your favorite role, you might not have that side's hero's costumes unlocked yet. Both games give characters their own sound clips and the catchphrases to shout alongside various attacks and in-game moments. Similar to Overwatch, in Lawbreakers, some characters have enough beef with other characters on the enemy side that they have very specific comments they will make upon killing each other. Boss Key Productions might want to take a page from Overwatch and add more dialogue between characters in Lawbreakers to really shine some light on the lore and build up the characters in the minds of the players. Jumping out of the game to look at the Lawbreakers wiki, the characters have potential for a lot more depth and backstory about what got them to this point in their lives. Though none of this is currently found in the game, the lore of Lawbreakers is there, though it may have taken a backseat to the gameplay and action, which which for some gamers is a plus over Overwatch. Game modes of Morty Ball, Push Push Payload, and Contest the Points. Something both games have in common is no single-player campaign. All they offer players is online multiplayer game modes as far as the eye can see. Lawbreakers currently offers 4 symmetrical game types. Blitzball, where players try to secure goals by bringing a ball to the enemy's base. First to 8 goals wins. Side note, if you recognize Little Blitzball's voice, leave us a comment below. Turf War. Teams battle it out for control of 3 turf areas at a time, standing in the designated area uncontested to lock it in for your own team. First to 16 points wins. Uplink and overcharge. The reverse of Blitzball, players pick up a portable objective object and return it to their own base to charge while defending against the enemy team. Both very similar minus a few rule tweaks, so we're just grouping them together here. Players also have the option to set up custom games. Here the rules can be tweaked such as changing charge times, health, and setting hero restrictions. So far, these seem to be invite only and cannot be searched for like custom games in Overwatch. To be fair though, Blizzard didn't add that in until months after release. Given some time, Bosky Productions could very well add a whole lot more to the Lawbreakers game modes. Overwatch currently hosts Quick Match for casual play, Arcade for a variety of unique game settings, Competitive for more serious players, and Game Browser for those who want to set up a custom game with 500% health and speed, or to roleplay the high school dance. I guess. Anyways, moving on. Overwatch offers 4 distinct game modes as well, including Escort, where teams take turns moving a payload along a map against enemy defenses. Control Point, a distant cousin to Turf War. Teams fight for control of an area on the map and try to hold it uncontested for so long. Assault, an asymmetrical version of Control Point between offense and defense, with one side trying to push in and capture the other team's area. And Hybrid. Last but not least, this game mode mixes the Assault Control Point objective with an Escort objective for the second half of the round. Now, granted, with the arcade section, Overwatch has thrown a lot of other game modes into the mix, changing it up on a near monthly basis with 1v1, 3v3, team eliminations, deathmatch, Lucio Ball, and so on, with one-off and alternative game modes to pick from. While Lawbreakers still feels fresh and fun, it may have to expand its game modes to keep the action fresh and the player base engaged. Might we suggest borrowing from the Gears of War series, which hosts a shotgun blast of different game modes such as Dodgeball, which is bloodier than it sounds, Capture the Leader, or Guardian for starters. Gameplay and game pacing. Lawbreakers is set in the distant future of 32 years from now, when the Earth's moon has shattered, causing gravitational anomalies and crises all across the globe. This is the lore that sets up the zero-gravity areas scattered around the map. Inexperienced players may find themselves floating aimlessly if not too careful. A good tip is to locate your blind fire key, as the pushback from your weapon will keep you moving even when your shift fuel is recharging. For more skilled players, this opens up new heights for mobility and attack options. Lawbreakers is big on mobility, with most heroes having the option to fly through the sky, teleport across gaps, and leap through the air with ease. Characters like Valkyries and Harbingers can get above the action and rain down suppressing fire, while the Titan and Juggernaut classes stay closer to the ground most of the time. Certain gameplay types call for different skills, so knowing when to switch to make a speedy ball run or to plant yourself as a gatekeeping guardian is very important. Unlike in Overwatch, the classes in Lawbreakers are not broken into roles, with all of them outfitted for more offensive playstyles. Even the battle mech carries a grenade launcher and heals only slightly more than they damage. No one class is a must-have for every game though, and players are able to switch picks while in the spawn room. Lawbreakers does well to give certain heroes an edge in their own area of expertise without having overly rigid must-picks or hard counters like in Overwatch. Lawbreakers allows teams to double up on heroes as well, though diversifying a team lineup is still a much stronger choice. Overwatch's games often rely on team pushes, making coordinated attacks together and stacking up ultimates for a clean team wipe. Lawbreakers characters have their own special abilities that they have to charge up, but none of them feel as game-changing as a Dragon Strike or a Graviton Surge. Luckily, the action is usually spread out over a wider area of play, with objectives less focused in one area at a time. Add in the slightly smaller team sizes, and getting a double kill in Lawbreakers feels a lot more meaningful with the fast-paced gameplay. With Overwatch, it's important to have a well-balanced team with offense, tanks, defense, and support picks. Lawbreakers classes have their own roles but are not so heavily dependent on each other to pull off a win. Teams can function just fine without a battle medic to patch them up. Teams do want a good mix of heavy and light characters to stay healthy though. Players need to consider the map and the game type when making their pick. Will there be a lot of open spaces or tight corners to defend? Is the objective to lock down an area or rush past defenses?
Keeping an open mind and considering what's best for your team will be the difference between victory or defeat.
Alright everyone, that has been our Overwatch vs. Lawbreakers non-deathmatch, non-grudge match breakdown of the two titles. We're not going to tell you how to live your life, we ain't your mama. Comment below and tell us if you'd be on the Law side or the Breaker side. And that goes for you too, Overwatch fans. Just pretend Overwatch equals Law and Talon equals Breakers. I've been your host, Kyle Stover, and thanks for watching The Leaderboard. We've got new videos dropping on the weekly, so hit that bell icon to join the notification squad. Be sure to connect with us on social media, and if you like getting more from your games, subscribe to The Leaderboard, where we help you game smarter.